Hey guys, how you going? So another week here on the Homestead, week 97, finished and done. As you can see, I haven't done a huge deal on the roof. I've still got all of this bit here left to take down. This side's mostly gone now. But at the start of the week we had a load of rain come down. 2 or 3 days were knocked out just because it was raining quite hard. And then after that, with the ground being so wet, pushing the wheelbarrow around just churns everything up. So I haven't done very much out here. So I don't have a lot to show you. So this week instead, we did have a request for some cooking shows to be done about what I'm cooking for myself. So today I'm going to show you a very simple recipe. What I'm going to be making is a sourdough pita bread cooked on a wood fire, served with free-range chicken. So if you want to see how I make that here on the Homestead, then stay tuned. If not, I hope you had a fantastic time, and I will of course talk to you next week. But if you're going to stay with us, then yeah, let's get to the kitchen. Hey guys, so I'm just about to show you how I made these, some lovely sourdough pita breads. They are very, very tasty. Now, I'm not recommending that you follow this recipe in any way, or my hygiene. I was a chef for a little while, and I learned some bad habits. But anyway, this is how you make sourdough pita bread with free-range chicken. Okay, so first things first, we need the fire, and we don't want the fire when it's raging flames and chucking out, a lot of heat. What we want is coals left in the fire, so that we can cook at the right temperature. So you will need to light the fire first of all, just on your little stove. Make sure it's a cast iron stove top. But this fire should be just about ready, so let's get on with making the dough. Hey guys, how you going? So this evening we are going to be making some sourdough pita bread. First thing we're going to need is a bowl. Now you might be looking at that bowl and thinking that's not a clean bowl. Correct, but we're making sourdough, so half of the ingredients for sourdough is sourdough starter. Now what that is flour that's been left to rot in water for about a week, and then you keep refilling it and refilling it. The other ingredient we're going to be using is of course flour, and the flour that I get, I have no idea whether it's raising or self-raising, but it has pictures of bread on it, so that's why I get it, because it's got bread on it. All we're going to do is chuck some flour into the bowl, and as I said, doesn't need to be clean, because we are effectively putting rotting flour into it. That's your active yeast. It's a probiotic bread, so it's got lots of good bacteria, and another major benefit is you don't actually need to clean your bowl afterwards. Just scrape off the big chunks once it's dry. So you're going to put your sourdough starter in, about yay much, and then we stir it up, and hopefully we get slightly drier than normal bread dough. What we want, you see it's quite stiff already. That's about perfect. We don't want too much slop in there for this kind of bread. These flatbreads cook very well if they are slightly dry. Now peel that off. This spoon, you just put it back in your starter tub, and then you can start folding this in together, and as you do, push it down, and all we're going to do is just bring the dough together and get it into one nice big lump. And once we've got it into a nice big lump, we're literally going to leave it for about half an hour in a nice warm spot to let the I think it's the gluten develop. So yeah, you see these dry bits, just push them in. It will begin to mix itself, so it does get a little bit more moist as the water that's in the starter spreads throughout the flour. But yeah, this is about perfect. This there's not enough water for that, so that just stays out, but that'll make a nice little base so it won't stick to it. But yeah, we've got a nice stiff dough, much stiffer than your baking bread dough. But yeah, so, and as you see, no gunk on the hands, so it's not sticky, but you see it rips rather than stretches. So we're going to leave it for half an hour, let the gluten develop, come back, knead it, and then cook it straight away. We won't even be rising this. Alright guys, well, I'm going to leave our little ball, put him into plastic carrier bag. Alright, in he goes to the plastic bag. He's going to stay in there for about half an hour. The plastic bag just stops him from drying out, keeps the air in there nice and moist. Okay, so we're back. Let's get this open. And there we go. As you can see, this dough, the gluten has started to develop. You see it's taken on a much less claggy, and it's feeling a little bit more damp. Now all this stuff, all this left over, what we're going to do with that is open up the starter. So you see I've left some in there. We're just going to put all of this back in here, and then that will rot away and become starter later. I will need to fill that up with some more flour, but for now we're just going to do a tiny bit of kneading. Just put a little bit of flour in the bottom, put that in, and all we're going to do is just give it just a little bit more working, really not that much. And you'll know when it's ready because it starts feeling silky almost. Yeah, see, it's kind of silky. Anyway, right, so next step, that's more than enough. Still tears, but there is stretch there as well now. You see it's not insta tearing like it was earlier. So that's a bit too big. We're going to get a ball about yay big. We're just going to work that a little bit, and we're going to smush it, and we're going to make like a disc. We're going to chuck that in the flour. Now what we need is a trusty old pasta machine. Just check that there's nothing in the way, no bits down the bottom. Try not to lose the handle. Alright, so then from inside your flour bag, get a very heavily floured disc, and we're just going to literally just feed it through the pasta machine. And you do need to collect what comes out the bottom, otherwise it will all bunch up. But there you go. So that's your pita bread. Alright, okay, so we're going to take the pita bread now and take it over here and just slap it straight onto the stove. I'm cooking some chicken food at the same time. So yeah, the stove is hot but not red hot, and we're just going to cook that on there for a few seconds. Make sure it's not sticking anywhere. It doesn't usually stick. It doesn't take too long, but we'll come back in a second when I flip him over. Alright guys, it's about ready. We're going to broken it, but yeah, it's about ready. So what we're going to do is just flip these over. We've now got two pita breads, and flip that one over. So yeah, as you can see, already starting to look like pita bread. I'll be back in a minute once they're both done. Alright, so the oven, the stove wasn't quite hot enough, but we've got a decent pita bread out of this one, and we started another. Alright guys, there you have it. We have our pita breads. served with our free-range chickens. Very simple recipe, very quick, very easy, very tasty as well. I'm sure these girls will like some. Do you want to try some pita bread? Oh no, they're going to try the bag of flour. Alright guys, well I'm going to tuck in, and I will of course see you next week. Any more requests, let me know.